Let me take the glasses off because we're going to get very comfortable. You already know I have my phone with me because I like to stay on track and I like to take notes. Okay? In this video, I'm about to share with you 3 different things: calculating your cost, profitable pricing, and how to avoid undervaluing your products. So let's talk about what exactly goes into your pricing. Now, I'm about to give you the 4 top core. There are definitely more, and it can definitely be so many added on, but these are the 4 top core product pricing that's going to be in the list. Number 1, your base product price. This is going to be what your suppliers are charging. You cannot get around this. You can negotiate it down, but at the end of the day, to get the products from them to you, you're going to be paying them something. The next thing is going to be your shipping costs. Again, unavoidable. These are fixed costs that are not going anywhere. So either you're going to pay for it or your customers are going to pay for it. And maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later when it comes to shipping. But that's going to be added into your cost. Then we have our platform fees. So whatever platform you're using, most of the time they're going to be charging either card transaction fees or they charge a base rate that you would use for their website, or they charge both. So most of the time you're going to be paying for these fees when it comes to whatever website you're using: Shopify, Etsy, Amazon, all of these, eBay. You're going to be charged for these card transaction fees, and you're also going to be charged the base price more than likely for using their platform monthly. You need to know exactly what that cost is. You're not going to be guessing. You're not going to be sugarcoating. You're not going to be estimating. You need to know exactly what that cost is to be utilizing their platform. The next cost is going to be your marketing cost. Now, this one you can definitely pretty much work your way around, but it's still going to cost you a little bit of something, and you need to know exactly what that's going to be. So if you're going to utilize ad spend, if you're going to utilize influencers, whatever you're going to utilize when it comes to your marketing, whether it's just buying the samples, that's still going to cost money. For example, if my supplier is charging me $10 for a shirt, then that is going to be my base cost for my supplier. I negotiated better. I negotiated down. This is what we came up with. This is the base price. And then here comes the shipping costs. The shipping for this item is going to range me about $4 to $5. Just for the sake of the video, we're going to go with $5. These are just numbers. They are not accurate. So my shipping is going to cost me $5 no matter what for this particular item. Even after that, then my website fees for card transactions are going to be 2.9% plus 30 cents for every card that gets swiped and put into my website. That is what they're going to be charging me. This is what I mean when I say you need to know these base prices, because you're then going to calculate it and add it up to see what we actually have to work with. I put down an example here because I want to give you an actual real scenario. So just say if I am selling my shirt for $24.99, my manufacturer is charging me $11 to get this shirt, to get it made, to get it, to do whatever to it. Then after that, we're going to have my shipping cost, which is going to be $5. I have to have the manufacturer and I have to have the shipping. That is unavoidable. I can't go around it. I can't go through it. I have to actually grab it. And then we have the fees. These are fees that you cannot avoid either, because if somebody put their payment in on your website, the fees are automatic. You cannot avoid it. Can't talk your way out of it. You can't do it. Those fees are estimated. I'm going to estimate them at about $3, about 10% per every sale. And then that gives our total cost to $18 that it takes just to have this shirt made. That's not any profit. That's not anything. And that is just the base. It is so much more that can go into the pricing of products, but I'm going to start y'all off with just the basics. Okay. So that is about $18 to make this shirt, to have it done, to have it created. After that, and you're selling it for $24.99, your profit is going to be $7. Really $6 and change, but $7 is what your profit is left with. Now, I know you're probably saying, oh, that's not a lot of money. That's not a lot of profit. But you have to understand that you can go up on the price of this shirt. But I'm just giving you an example, and I'm giving you a base of exactly what it takes and what you need to do instead of guessing your pricing. Guessing your pricing is steering you all wrong, and it's making you lose money instead of make money. Now let's talk about value-based pricing. And what people do not understand is the more you throw into your brand, the more you're going to have to sit down and strategically figure out what you're spending so you can see what you're going to charge. You really can't see what you're going to charge unless you know what you're spending. So when I talk about value-based pricing, that means if you decide that you're going to go all in with branding, which is not bad, it's not a bad idea. But if you decide you're going to get the name on the boxes, the cards, the thank you cards inside, I'm going to get everything labeled. I'm going to get label stickers. I'm going to get label pencils, label this, label that, labels in the tag, labels under the tag. Whatever you decide, you're going to have to add all of that pricing into the price of your product. Now, if you're going to be doing more branding when it comes to your items, which means putting the name in the tag also costs more, then you're going to have to charge more when it comes to this product. So $24.99 will not work if you're going to decide that you're going to go all out with branding and putting all of these tags inside of your items. Here are a few pricing mistakes that I see so much. As a matter of fact, not just what I see, what I have personally done. When it comes to pricing your products, sometimes we want to be too friendly, and we think that sometimes our price is the problem when it comes to people buying our products. And most of the time I've seen that the price is actually not the problem. Most of the time it's the marketing, but we'll get into that in another video. But when it comes to pricing your products, these are the common mistakes that I've seen. The first mistake that I see is pricing your products too low. Now, we talked about this. If you watched the last video, we talked about this already. You cannot be selling a $5 shirt if it basically costs you $18 to make, that we've already said. That is going to put you in the negative, and ultimately you're not going to go far with this type of margin. It's just not sustainable. It's not going to work. You're going to be in the negative because somebody has to pay what's in the red, basically. The second common mistake that I see is ignoring shipping costs. Ultimately, I see people just think that they're just going to wake up and just send out a text, send out an email, or go on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever and say, hey, free shipping today. And they don't sit down and think, if I say that it's free shipping, it's not actually free. Somebody has to pay for this shipping, and it's going to be you. Even if the customer doesn't pay for the shipping, even if you go on your website and click do free shipping or give them a code for free shipping, when you get ready to ship their order out and you go through the shipping website, they're not going to give it to you for free. So you need to consider your shipping costs and price it in the product. So when you do feel like waking up that morning and saying free shipping, you have no worries because it's ultimately already priced in your products. The next thing is copying your competitors blindly. There's absolutely nothing wrong with getting inspiration, getting some type of view on what's going on in this industry. Nothing is wrong with that. But when you are blindly following the competitors, seeing what they price their products at, so I'm going to price mine that, your idea and their ideas are totally different. Your manufacturer and most likely their manufacturer is completely different. You cannot go in blindly following competitors when you have no idea what is going on behind the scenes in their business. And the last, but definitely not least, common mistake that I see is literally making no room for discounts. As it's the same way when it comes to the shipping. You wake up and you say, oh, I'm going to run a discount today, but you did not put that in the price of your product. Also, the pop-ups that you have on your website are usually offering 10 to 15% discount, but somebody has to cover that 10 to 15% discount that you're putting out there. So did you put that in the price of your product so you can account for that and make room for that when you are trying to run a sale? But just a little recap, you need to know your pricing. You need to know what your manufacturer is charging. You need to know what your shipping costs are going to be with whatever shipping company that you're going to go with. And you definitely need to know what's going on. You need to be aware of the discounts that you're doing. You need to be aware of what you're paying in marketing. These are the things that you cannot get around and you need to be aware of. Need to be pricing for profit and not just sales. We're not in business to just be pricing just because we think it's cute, just because we want people to like us. We're pricing for profit. We want to build something that's longevity, that's legacy. We want to actually build something, not just create something that is a hobby. Before I leave this out, I'm going to add this in here just as a reminder. When it comes to pricing your products as well, use the psychology strategy. And it's so simple, but it even works with me. And I'm pretty sure it definitely works with you. So instead of saying this shirt is $25, say this shirt is $24.99. So in the psychological brain, we feel like we're spending $24 and not $25. And I know people may not understand like, oh, that doesn't make sense. But in the world of marketing, that makes a lot of sense. When it comes to bundling, In order to increase your orders, this really doesn't have much to do with the pricing, but it's mostly to increase your average order value. Bundle your products. If you have a shirt that goes along with another shirt, bundle it together. Let the customers know that this is what people are buying together. This is the things that match together. If this hat goes with this shirt, then that's exactly what you need to be pairing together. But if this video was somewhat helpful, make sure that you subscribe and like, and let me know in the comments what else y'all want to talk about when it comes to print on demand.